Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'll be showing you how I made this beautiful bootcut trouser. Some people call it bell bottom trouser or a flared trouser, anyhow you want to put it. So if this is what you want me to learn, please stay tuned to the end of this video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also like this video. So guys, the first thing we are going to do is to draft our basic trouser pattern. So it is a basic trouser pattern we're going to alter to give us our bootcut pants. So the length of the trouser is 41 inches plus 2 inches for allowance, and also we're going to minus 2 inches for the band. So we are still going to arrive at 41 inches. So I've marked the 41 inches. So now I'm going to mark 3 inches inside, like from the edge. I'm going to mark 3 inches because I want space to be at the edge. So it's from that new line that I'm going to connect, that I'm going to start all my measurements from. So the reason for doing this is because after drafting the basic trouser pattern, like I said earlier, we're going to alter it to form our bootcut pattern. So there should be enough space at the edge so as to give enough room for the wideness of the end of the trouser pattern. So I'm going to extend the line like so. So like I said before, all our measurement will be starting from that line. So we're going to be treating that line as a new edge. So all our measurements will be starting from that line. Take note. So now the next thing we're going to do is to mark our crotch depth. For my crotch depth, I'll be using 11 inches. It is 13 inches, but minus 2 inches for the band. So that's 11 inches for my crotch depth. So I'm going to extend the line. So I'll also mark 8 inches from the waist. That will serve as my hip line. So I'm also going to extend it. Then I'll mark my knee length. For my knee length, I'll be using 19 inches. So now I'm going to draw a straight line across all the marked points. I'm going to extend all the lines. So my hip measurement is 41 inches. So I'm going to add 4 inches to 41 inches, which will give us 45 inches. This is a method that I've always been using and has been working for me. So 41 inches plus 4 inches, which is for ease and all the sewing allowance. So the 45 inches, I'm going to divide it by 4, which will give us 11.25. So I'm going to mark 11.25 on the crotch line, like so. So I'm also going to mark it on the waistline, like so. Mind you, that's not the waist measurement. I just want to extend the line. So I'll extend the line like so. So now from that line, I'm going to mark my waist measurement divided by 4. My waist measurement divided by 4, which is 7.25. I'm going to mark it backwards like that. And then I'm going to use my French curve to connect it to the hip line, like so. So on the crotch line, I'm going to mark 2 inches forward, and then on the hip line, I'm going to mark ½ inch forward. So I'm going to connect it. I'm using my free hand. I'm going to connect it like so. Pay close attention. If you can't use your free hand, you can also use your French curve. So I'm also using French curve can use your free hand too. So now I'm going to measure all we have, starting from the 2 inches we came forward by till where the line starts from. So that's 13.25. So I'm going to mark it on the knee line. So I'm going to divide the 13.25 into 2 and mark the midpoint. So I'm marking the midpoint on the knee line like so, and I also mark the midpoint on the hip line like so. So I'm also marking the midpoint all the way down, so it will be very easy to connect to my ruler. So now I'll connect all the dots to extend the line like so. So my knee circumference measurement is 20 inches. I'm going to divide the 20 inches by 2, not 4 this time around. This is 20 inches divided by 2. So that's 10. I'm going to find the midpoint of 10, which is 5. So I'm going to share 5 inches on both sides of the line, and I'll connect it with my ruler like so. And then I'll connect the crotch area with my French curve. I was making sure it is 5 inches there. So my round ankle, that's my ankle circumference measurement, is about 7 inches. So I'll share the 7 inches on both sides of the M line, which is 3.5 inches on both sides. So to make joining it easier, I also came up and marked the 3.5 inches on both sides. So now I'm going to connect the M line to the knee line with my ruler. I'm also going to connect the other side like so. So now this is our basic trouser. It is this basic trouser we're going to alter to give us our bootcut pants pattern. So now let's get straight to it. I hope we can see it properly now. So now on the point where the 3.5 ends at the hem of the trouser, so I'm going to go out by 4 inches. That was the reason why we left that side of the pattern paper. So also on the other side where the 3.5 inches ended, I'm also going to go out by 4 inches. So we're going to connect the knee line to that point like so. So we're going to do that on both sides. The 4 inches I came out by is my own preference. if you want your bootcut pants to be wider, it can be more than 4, and if you don't want it to be as wide as this, it might not be up to 4 inches. So the 4 inches I used is just my own preference. So now I'm going to go ahead cut the pattern out. So this is how our front pattern looks like. So when drafting the trouser pattern, I didn't add any dart allowance because I didn't want any dart on the trouser. So if you want your dart, you can just mark your dart. So that's all for the drafting of the front pattern. So for the back pattern, I have placed the front pattern on another pattern paper. So I left about 1 inch at the top of the pattern paper. When I get there, I'm going to explain to you the reason why I left the 1 inch. So now I'm going to trace out this front pattern on the new pattern paper like so. So after tracing it, I'm going to go ahead and remove all the pins. So this is how it looks like after tracing it on the back pattern. So now I'm going to measure the 11 inches for the crotch depth. So I'm going to measure it here again because I'll be needing those lines. And I also measure the 8 inches for the hip line, for the hip depth. So I'm going to extend the line backwards. So I'm also going to measure 2 inches backward. Remember, we measured 2 inches forward on the crotch line when we're drafting the front pattern. So I want to straighten the line again. So that's why I measured it backward. So from that line, I'm going to go back again by 1 inch. So on the waistline, I'm also going to measure 2 inches backward. I'm going to go back by 2 inches. So I also came up by 1 inch on that same line. So now I'm going to connect all the points. I'm going to rule a straight line to connect all the points like so. So that is a new line we are following. That is where the new measurements will be starting from. So now I'm going to measure the back crotch for the on the front crotch line, we came forward by 2 inches, but on the back we're coming forward by 4 inches, starting from that 1-inch line that I measured backward. So I'll extend the line. So now I'm going to draw my new crotch line. So I'm going to connect it like so. The back crotch is always longer. The back crotch curve, let me cut it like that. The crotch curve is always longer than the front crotch curve, because this is a female trouser pant, and females have hips or a larger backside than male. So the long crotch curve is going to be longer than the front in order to accommodate the backside and the hips. So starting from that 1 inch we came up by on the waist, we're going to measure the waist measurements, and we're going to make sure it's on the same level as the line on the side. So I've marked 7.5 inches. So I'm going to connect it like so. So I'm marking a straight line in order to make it very accurate. So I'll connect from that 1 inch we came up by to my new waist measurement. Can you see it? I hope you are paying close attention. Remember, we divided 45 divided by 4 when drafting the front, which is 11.25. So from that new line, we're going to mark the 11.25 backwards, like so. So I'm going to use my French curve to connect the hip and the waist together, like so. So on that point where the new crotch ends, I'm going to outline with my free hand. I'm going to outline the line, like following the shape of the trouser pattern, like so. So that extra space will serve as our sewing allowance. So I'm also going to do the same for the other side. I'm going to outline it following the shape of the trouser pattern, like so. So that other side is also serving as our sewing allowance. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Watch closely and see how I'm cutting it. So that's all for the back pattern. So this is the fabric. This is our pattern after cutting it on the fabric. That's the front and the back piece. So I've also gone ahead to cut the band, as you can see. So starting from the front piece, I'm going to place the crotch area right side facing right side. I'm going to place it on each other like so, the front piece. So I'm going to head over to the machine now to stitch down the crotch area right side facing right side by half an inch. So I have stitched the crotch area and this is how it is looking. So I'm also going to stitch the band. So for the back piece, I'll place the crotch right side facing right side. So I'll measure 8 inches like so for the zipper, and then I'll stitch the rest starting from that 8 inches downward by half inch. So this is the back piece. After joining it, as you can see, that is where we're going to add our zip. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch the band. So this is how our back pattern is looking. So I'm going to place the front pattern on the back pattern like so, right side facing right side. So starting from the waist, I'm going to stitch it down. I'm going to stitch both sides down by half an inch. So this is how our trouser looks like after stitching both sides. So now I'm going to go ahead and place the crotch area like so, also right side facing right side. I'm going to place it on each other, and then you can go ahead and use your pin to hold it down. So I like starting from the middle. I like sewing from the middle of the crotch for accuracy. So I'm going to sew it down. I'm going to sew it down like so, and then I'm also going to sew the other side down. So I'll join both sides starting from the middle. So this is how our trouser is looking like. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my invisible zip. I'm going to head over to the machine now to stitch my zip. So I have stitched my zip. The next thing I want to do now is to stitch the hem. So we're going to fold the hem of the trouser in like so, and then we're going to stitch it round. So this is how our trouser is looking after stitching both hem. It's giving us the bootcut vibes already. So that's basically all for this tutorial, and please guys, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel also, and please guys, don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. So see you in my next video.